I want you to understand I'm still walking around with that mental image of a naked person from last night, and it's bothering me. So. I was born and raised in Stevensville, Louisiana. I was born and raised in Stevensville, Louisiana, right? And it's just outside of Morgan City. But we're so small, anytime we go abroad, which is outside of Morgan City, we refer to ourselves as from Morgan City. But we were from Stevensville. And there were factions growing up, you know, because we were the only people with the last name Green in Stevensville, surrounded by true born and bred 5-generation Cajuns with last names like Boudreaux, Acosta, you know, and just rolling into that group with your last name being Green was interesting. And the crazy thing about growing up from Stevensville, and the thing we realized is there's factions everywhere, you know. We would battle with Morgan City, but anywhere outside of Morgan City, we were one group. You know, we didn't like Berwick in town, but if we were in Grand Isle or anywhere else, everyone was from Morgan City, and we stayed a group. But when we got back home, it was what it was, you know. And the greatest thing and the thing that makes me truly appreciate the things we're doing now, and the reason we want to try to relay it to everyone, is we didn't come from money by any means, but we didn't know we were poor. I had a 9.9 Johnson on a boat since I was 6 years old, you know, running trout lines, making our own hydroslides before there was such a thing as hydroslide out of plywood. And I mean, catching catfish, frogging, just living on the water. And we take it so much for granted that when we come to another place and we meet people or people come to visit us, you remember how awesome it is because you see it in their faces and them appreciating what we do, you know. But growing up from Stevensville, and even with Morgan City and Berwick, I mean, because Kern's from Berwick, you know, and we let them live, though. We allow it. Just the dynamics of growing up in that little small town were wonderful, wonderful. I have an older brother named Scott Green, obviously. I have an older brother named Scott Green, obviously. But he instilled a lot in me about, you know, the friends and the things we do now. I did absolutely have the best father known to man. I did absolutely have the best father known to man, bar none. Mark Green was awesome. Anyone, when you mention his name, they'll all tell you the same thing. An extremely awesome outdoorsman. His patience was unlimited, and I'll never understand it to this day. But growing up with these things in mind, it made me who I am. I'm a little bit, you know, off the edge and not quite as normal as most folk. But at the core, I'm still the same as every one of them, which I'll give you a shirt off my back. I'll stop on whatever I'm doing if you need help, whether I know you or not. You know, that's just the way we do. That is the South Louisiana. Anyone that's ever visited will tell you that people open up their doors. You'll never eat so much food in your life until you come down there and not realize you're doing it, because everywhere you go, someone's cooking something, someone's giving something. And that culture that we have there, we love bringing it around. You know, it's infectious. And it blends with any culture. On the islands, everybody on the islands are laid back and friendly. Guess what? It works. Being outdoors, fishing, hunting, being on the water, it's just life. I had a guy interview me once, and he says, why do you do all this stuff, Greg? And, you know, the only answer I could think of, and I thought about it overnight before I could even answer him because it caught me off guard. Why? Why do you do this? It's a tough question. You don't realize. And I thought about it overnight, and the answer was because we just don't know any better. I don't know anything different. I don't know anything different. It's all I know. And why not enjoy it if you have it?
What would you say you're most passionate about?
Vagina. But I know we can't use that.
There's a second of it. There's a second of it.
Really? At least it wasn't me naked. So.
That's why he...
You know, that's a great question that you asked me about what I'm most passionate about, because recently I would rather duck hunt than eat. My passion was duck hunting, period. You know, I lived for duck hunting. Everything else we get to throw in was just bonus stuff, you know, fishing, deer, rabbit, whatever. Duck hunting was my passion. And I find myself this last year or so not as excited about duck hunting. And I catch myself trying to find out what am I passionate about now? I'm not focused on anything. I find myself just kind of floating and happy and waking up. And I realize, you know, you have to have some passion for something to keep you focused and moving forward. My goal one day is to not worry about anything ever and just wake up, breathe, and sleep. My goal one day is to not worry about anything ever and just wake up, breathe, and sleep. Maybe with some depends on shit myself, you know, but I know we can't use that either, but I'm trying to keep myself in the right frame of mind. I think I'm more passionate. I guess the only thing I can say that I have left that I'm truly passionate about is friends and family. You know, I think I'm more passionate. I guess the only thing I can say that I have left that I'm truly passionate about is friends and family. You know, but that once again, I don't know any better. That's all I know. You know, I just know the way I was raised. I know my culture, and I am a product of the history of me in Louisiana. The wonderful thing about being in South Louisiana, and when we form relationships, and I think it's something you'll see in everyone we meet, and this is true about North Louisiana, South Louisiana, anything. When we make friends, if you're in for life. And the only way we have a terminology for it, and what we call it, is your brother, your sister. I mean, you're literally instantly a family member once you're in, and it's not that hard to get in. I mean, look, we let you in, didn't we? Because the big thing about that friendship is it is a bond for life. We consider it that. I consider it that. You know, there's a few things that I try to strive for, but there's one thing, and it's the old school thing. Do what you say what you mean. And if you're wrong, say you're wrong. And if you did bad, apologize, and hopefully they forgive you. If not, wake up the next day, do it all over again, it'll be okay. Right? Yep. There's a few things that I try to strive for, but there's one thing, and it's the old school thing. Do what you say what you mean. And if you're wrong, say you're wrong. And if you did bad, apologize, and hopefully they forgive you. If not, wake up the next day, do it all over again, it'll be okay. Crowd, I always drew people as friends that were either hillbillies, rednecks, mountain boys, you know, these kind of guys, but they're the same as Cajuns, just geographically different, but they have the same mentality. They'll jump in front of a bus for their friends. They love cooking, they love eating, they love music, right? So everywhere we go, there are people like us. We met a guy on the island today, and talking to him, he said something pretty profound. Maybe not as profound as like a life-changing moment, but we were talking about a few things, you know, just bumped into him. And he said, you know, Greg, he said, the way I look at life, he says, we're all one human species, and that's it, period. We're all one set of humans on the planet. And I'm like, you know, you're absolutely correct. But some of us humans are a little cuter than others, though. And you know, I'm pretty awesome, if I have to say myself. You know, there's three things we keep repeating over and over that you're going to hear a lot. And you'll hear it a lot from a lot of people in South Louisiana, no matter where you go. We talk about friends, outdoors, and food. You know, that's the three things we're most passionate about. But to keep calling them separate entities is kind of tough, so we'll just label it all into one thing and just call it, this is our culture. You know.
And the music, too.
The music, as I said, it's so dynamic. There's so many things involved. We have the music. We have our own kind of music in Louisiana. We have Zydeco music. We have swamp pop, you know. They'll get on a squeeze box just like they'll play electric guitar. And you find that everywhere you go. I mean, Junkanoo is kind of the same thing. Everybody just gets together, grabs an instrument, and starts playing. Except we have a washboard. And I think those guys need a washboard in their life. It's more than three things. We have music, family, friends, outdoors, food, fellowship. You know, it's a natural fellowship. I'm not talking about the church kind, just man. Just everywhere we go, we create friends. And when we create these friends, they're friends for life.